Hello, we are back and we are now working on step 4B, which is the physical settings report. And again, the assignment client we're focusing on here is EMG. Okay, and so we're going to jump right into it. Don't want to prolong the time. We've already gotten done filling out our report tags. We went over that in the previous video. If you have not watched that yet, that is the first step when you get inquired. So please, let's not skip steps. I promise you there's a reason for the order. Okay, so now we're going to, again, the physical settings section 4.0 through 4.4. So how do I get there quickly? There are two ways to get there. You can stay and hover over the right side. When I say hover, again, I mean not clicking anything, but just putting your mouse over the right side of the screen, and you can start moving your cursor or roller, and it'll take you down the sections for the most part. But I need to get out of report tags. So you see here I'm still in report tags. I need to get out of there and actually get into my report zone. So I just click down here in either one of these. You see I'm clicking on my left side over here. This is called the viewing module. Okay, and you can click over here and it can show you as much or as little as you like. Sometimes I like to see every single section of the report, but if you want to reduce this to just the numbers of the sections, you see how it reduced itself. I'm just clicking down here on different things that I want to show. It even goes all the way as to just put the major stuff there. That's a quicker way to navigate this thing if you desire. Me personally, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything as the reviewer of these, I have every single section highlighted. But for you, since you know there are only specific areas you need to work within, you probably can go to number. This third one over here is probably the best setting for you, because you can actually see we said we're going to do sections 4.0 through 4.4, and that's exactly what this shows. You see that physical setting 4.1 through 4.4. Okay, so I can click on 3 down here, and then I can come over here. I can click on 3.0. It takes me straight there to my right. You see how it's working there. 5.0, so on, so on. 5.7, adjacent site section, which you're going to have a video on. I'm quickly navigating through that by using my tabs over here to the left. All right, so here we go. Section 4.0, physical settings. This is in gray. Remember, things in gray you can't touch and don't have to touch. Okay, I'm only going to fill out these charts that are located here. Okay, and so first thing I need to fill out is they've already got a report tag in this block, but they need the name of the topographic map. Topographic map name. Where do I find that at? Well, I'm going to go in my physical settings report. Let me find it down here. Here we go. The PSR. For this report, make sure I have the right one. Yes, I do. 501 Easy Street, Goddard. Okay. Topographic map. Here is the name. Quadrangle, Goddard, Kansas. That's what we're looking at, and that is the name. They already got Kansas there for us, so we're simply going to click in front of here and write the name of the city, Goddard. Is that simple? Okay. Topographic map year. Okay. Well, ironically, the crazy part is in the physical settings report, it doesn't tell me what year this was. Remember, this is the most recent topo year. But remember, we had found this before. There's another way you can do it. You can open up your topos. Remember this file right here that you got your topo maps? It has that same map in there. And the most recent year happens to be the newest year. And 2015 is that date. Okay? So that's a quick way that you can find what the topographic year. They're asking, they don't say it here, but they're only looking for the most recent topo year in this cell. Okay, and you can look in that by opening up your topo maps document. And where is that located? It should be in that folder that you unzipped in step 1. US topos should be there. You can find that year. Upper level elevation. This is, I'm going to go back to my physical settings report. Okay. How do I find that? I'm looking on this report, and the next page here gives me the elevation. It's approximately at 1477. Okay. always use that number to you find your upper and lower. Just round it, okay? It's 1477, so if you round a little bit up, you know, to the nearest tenth, this will become 1480. And 1477, what's between it? 1475. 1477 is found between, that's not 14, that's 18. 1475 and 1480, okay? That's what you can do. Now, if we get on site, the field manager get on site and notice that this property slopes significantly in some direction, we may come in and change this because I'm supposed to review this anyway. I may change this to 1470 and say, well, no, that property drops about 10 feet. But for your purposes, again, you stick to 5, increments of 5, okay? Where did I get that from again? I looked at my physical setting report. Right after my topo map in the next page, it gave me an elevation of 1477.42, but I'm not worried about the decimal. So I'm just going to round a little bit up to the nearest tenth and round down to the nearest 5. And that's 1475 and 1480. It falls right between those two. Surface slope. Well, actually, you don't really know this surface slope because you weren't on site, so you'll leave that blank. Okay. Slope direction, again, you're not on site, so you leave that blank. Okay. Slope direction right here, you would say, man, that should be, are these talking about the same thing? No. Project topo, this is on site information. The general is talking about the entire topo map, and that information is given to you on this. Slope elevation is 1477. Slope direction right here says west northwest. Okay, that's the entire area, and that goes for this block. Again, these blocks may not be the same. Slope direction of the project may not be the slope direction of the general vicinity. Please don't mix those two up. Co-writers, don't you worry about these two blocks here. What I'm highlighting right here with my cursor. You only worry about this one, and you find that on your PSR document in your relief map. That's what it's called here over here. If I click my maps over here, I'm in the topographic map, the next one I'm in my relief map, and it says that the general vicinity slope direction is west northwest. Okay, and I type that in this way, dash northwest. Okay, that's exactly how you type that in. And I just typed it into the wrong. See, don't follow. That's made a mistake there, going too fast. I just told you that goes in your general vicinity. I'm sorry. There we go. All right. And then surface water feature. Well, man, stuff sounds difficult. What's my nearest surface water feature? What do they mean? They mean, what's the nearest surface water that is closest to your property? Okay, and I kind of just cheated there and showed you where you can find that information. You can click on your wetlands map, and it's going to have these little details of blue here where it would name any surface water that's near your property. Even over here, if you look over here, it even shows a little pond that's there. That's what that blue symbol looks like. Okay, so the nearest surface water to our property happens to be what we would call a creek or a tributary, a stream. It doesn't look like it's a major creek happening over there. If I look back at my aerial here, you see that? You see it? Look at it. Those little streaky lines. Those are what we call tributaries or little streams. And they could get really big. When they get bigger, that's when we get into calling them creeks. And so see that over here? See that becomes a big creek. Starts as a stream. Streams become creeks, and if you can guess, a creek can become as big as a river. Okay, boom. Hear that? You see that? That's a river. And you see this? This is a creek coming into a bigger river. Okay, and of course we go through and tell you geology. You know, I can teach you all that, and rivers pour into oceans, so on and so forth. All right. So, but that's what we got. So a stream, it doesn't look quite as big as what I would call a creek. but it is a drainage way. Okay, and so I'm just going to say that there is, and my wetland map doesn't quite show it better than even Google Maps does. But nonetheless, I've got a tributary happening maybe southwest of us here. And that's about, how do you measure distance? Well, this is the corner of our property right here. Remember, we're not including this little, that's where the cell tower is. I'm going to come just from the corner of my property, though. It ain't that big of a deal. If I right click on Google Maps, it has a measuring distance tool there. I hit that. It's waiting for me to hit 2 dots here. See that distance? Yep, it tells me feet. From the corner of my property to that nearest tributary, is what we're calling it, is 257 feet. So I'm gonna round that up to 260. So my nearest water feature, we're gonna call it an unnamed tributary, because it doesn't have a name on it. It hasn't become an official creek yet. And it says nearest surface water feature distance. We just looked that up. It was 257, but we're going to round up to 260 feet. And the direction, according to Google Maps, we found that it was what? This is, remember, up here is north, this is west, this is south, so this is kind of going south and west. So our direction, we're going to put is southwest. See that? Again. Now, when I got on site, because I was on site, this was relatively flat. It really wasn't a good slope to this property, so that's what I'll put there on site. But if I had to say things slowed in any direction, I would have to look at the direction of the on-site stormwater drains. Actually were kind of to the south on this property, so that's where my drainage kind of was on the property. See, on the property, it doesn't match up with the entire topographic area by any means. It's going west northwest, but on site, most of my drains were found on the south side of the property, so surface water was actually going mostly to the south. Okay. All right, so that's part of that section. So we're done with section 4.1. Moving to section 4.2, this is geology. Okay, your source is always going to be ARIS when it comes to EMG, because they've provided these reports via ARIS, who sends out these reports. My unit name for geology is what I got to fill in first. So I'm going to go back to my physical setting report that I've been provided, and right here we got geologic information. Click on that. It gives me this kind of map here, and it doesn't have much information but just this QL here. But that's my property drone right there. They don't have all of it drawn, but that's not a big deal to me. But they do tell me what the QL stands for. Okay, I'll just come down to the next page here. Unit name is Lois, so that's what I'm going to type in to this block. Primary rock, I go back to my physical settings report. Primary rock type, it says silt. Gave you that information. Secondary rock, they didn't list one. Okay, it's blank. What do I do there? Leave it blank. Okay, it wasn't there. But I real white in this block, not identified. Okay, that's it. That's section 4.2. Again, I know I went kind of quick, but it's the physical settings report. You're in the geology section, and over here they got a thing called geologic information, and I got my map and my detailed report. Your map locates and tells you what the acronym is, and then detailed report, you find that acronym and write the unit name, the primary rock, and the secondary rock if they give it to you. All right. 4.3 hydrology. This is talking about groundwater. Which way does the groundwater flow? Okay. Now, for these purposes, a lot of times we go and we have to pull another document known as the groundwater estimated groundwater depth. Okay, so I'll show you how we pull that information. we have a website that we go to that you don't have to do, but I'm just showing you how we pull it because I don't yet have it pulled and it's not yet in that folder. We would type in our address, 501 Easy Street. Okay, so it puts me about in the vicinity of my site. Okay, and now that I'm in this area, the general area of my site, I think we fall. Here we go, Easy Street. So we fall about. That's our property right there. They tried to draw it in, disappeared on us there, but we're located right here. Okay, I think I'm zoomed in too far. If I zoom out, you can actually see our building there. Y'all see it? But I'm in the vicinity of my property. I just try to get my area, the general area, centered on this map. Then I'm going to come over here to groundwater sites. I want active sites and we want measurements. Okay, but you see nothing really pops into the screen there. I zoom out and I don't have any active sites. That means they're not doing much groundwater measurements in Kansas. But I'll go to my inactive sites and measurements, and we do have some that pop in. These are older sites that were measured at one point. Alright, and I click on that, and sometimes I have to go to this menu down here. Inactive sites, the closest one that I'm clicked on there is this one that's listed at the top here. And I can just come over here and say access data. Pulls up this, and I'm looking for field groundwater level measurements. That's exactly what I need. Okay. Now, I told my guys if they pull up this report and it's an older report like back in the 1970s or something like that, groundwater depth has probably adjusted itself, over the last 20 years. Every 20 or so years, groundwater depth probably drops, probably 5 to 10 feet every time. Okay. Seems the site is not working. Of course, it's not working today. Now, I actually want to show people something. Sometimes these government sites, they work. Some see it's still loaded. Oh, there it goes. It popped in there. All right. So groundwater depth, we're actually looking to the left over here. Depth to water level, feet below land. And it says that groundwater falls at about 21 feet. Okay. But once again, I want us to round that off. It's not that big of a deal to be that accurate, because I promise you, since 1970, it probably ain't 21 feet no more anyway. So your source, we didn't get it from errors. We didn't get it from EDR. We got it from this site. It's called the USGS NWIS, National Water Information System. That's the source that we use on every report, regardless of client. USGS NWIS. Okay. I want you to put that in on every report. Okay, whether you did or not. And the depth that you would have been given this information, it would have been in this list. Okay, y'all remember this list of documents? You would have had a document down here that says groundwater USGS. Okay. Once again, this is something that you won't normally have to look up, but since you just saw me go through it, you know how to find it. Okay. 20 feet below ground surface, you can delete this blue information. To get out of that block and save it, whatever section you're writing in, to save anything, all you have to do is click out here in the gray. You see me? Watch this. I'm going to click in the gray, and now it's changed. And up there it popped up, said value was saved. Okay. So whatever you type inside of, you click out here and it saves it. Okay. All right. Estimated groundwater shallow groundwater flow direction. This should always be the same as your slope, your general vicinity slope direction. Okay. For your purposes, unless the manager may come in and change this, but for now, for your purposes, I want you to match that direction. Estimated direction of shallow groundwater flow, I want you to match that up with west, northwest, the slope direction. Okay. So that's what I want you to put down. It only has west down here. It doesn't have any combo options, but we were given a combo option. And I want you to match those two up. I may come in and change that based on information I got in the field, but for your purposes, you match those two up. Final thing is section 4.4, the soil information. Where do I find this at? I go back to my physical settings report, our friend, the PSR, the real MVP. All right. I click on soil information. The map here, it gives me now. How do I tell? Look at this. We got these colors. Each one of those colors represent a new soil identification. And if you see this color on the left, it comes down. I need to find that number. It's the 5982. And then on the right side of our property, we have this darker brown, which is a 6322. So we're actually going to have two different soil information, two different soil identifications to enter. 5982 and 6322. Let's go down to detail report. I'm looking for 5982. Let me do that one first. And then 6322. Well, thank God they are right next to each other here. 5982, 6322. I'm going to use that information to fill out my soil section. What information are they asking me for? Now first, I only have one room for one entry, but I know I have to add two for this site. So see right here it says add. How many rows do you want to add? They default and always put 10 in there. I don't know why. But we just want to add one more. We got one. We're just gonna put one more in there. Now we have two rows, and we can enter in two different names. Soil series name. Let's look at 5982. Unit name is Nalem. Okay, and 6322 is blanket. Nalem and blanket. No, I don't want Nalem loam or blanket silt loam. No, that's going to be another block. Okay, but just that first word, Nalem and blanket, is all I want you to put for the name. Okay. Drainage for each one of those, it's on here. Still looking. And drainage class, it says well drained for Nalem, and drainage class for blanket is well drained. So both of those will be well drained for the drainage. They got arrows there, well drained and well drained. Texture, that's where you're gonna use his other name. The texture here was silt loam, and this texture was just loam. That's where you find that second name at. Another way to find it is the first top layer of the soil was silt loam here, and the top layer of soil there was loam. Okay. Silt loam and then just loam. So boom. You filled out that section. Okay. That is complete. You filled out section 4.0. Again, I know there were at least 3 different sources that we used to find our information. Most of it came from the physical setting report. We did have to switch over to the topographic maps to find out the most recent topo year year. That's fine. We did have to jump outside a little bit and go to Google Maps to find the nearest waterway or nearest surface waterway that's near that site. Remember how we go from streams that we call streams tributaries, from tributaries to creeks to rivers, and even ponds count. If there was a pond or something near that site, if it's closer to the property, that's what you would have put. We had to go in Google Maps to find out how to do distance. Okay, so we had to go away from the PSR a little bit. Again, you have to go away from the PSR to get this information, groundwater flow, depth, from the USGS NWIS. But we got to come back to the PSR to find the direction, because we're just matching that direction up. Estimated groundwater direction is going to be generally the same as the general vicinity slope direction. Okay, those two would normally be the same. Very seldom are they different. Sometimes they are, but it's not for you to try to guess and figure out. Just put what we've told instructed you to put there, and most 90% of the time you'll be correct. You don't have to worry about anything. Alright, that is section 4.0, 4.1 through 4.4, the physical setting report. Stay tuned, and before you move on to the next section, which will be, I'll give you a little advance notice here, we're going to be moving to the adjacent property use section, which you have already done, remember? So, you did that back in step 2. So now we're about to just copy and paste some things. Get our life together. Enjoy. Next video. God bless.